forgotten asylum. There's a place that locals never speak of after sundown, a crumbling asylum that sits at the edge of a dying forest, hidden beneath layers of fog and silence. Its walls, once painted white, are now stained with mold and streaks of rust, as though the building itself bleeds from centuries of suffering. For years, people whispered that the asylum was abandoned after a fire, but no official record exists. No one knows the exact truth, and yet everyone fears it. They say if you step inside after midnight, the walls remember your footsteps, and the shadows whisper your name. It began decades ago when the asylum housed those deemed too dangerous, too broken for society. Doctors conducted experiments not to heal but to control. Electroshock sessions without anesthesia, endless isolation in padded cells, and injections of strange chemicals that made patients scream until their throats bled. Some patients vanished without explanation, their names scratched off records, their bodies never returned to families. Nurses spoke of hearing screams from empty rooms, or seeing shapes moving in the hallways long after lights out. The asylum was a cage for broken souls, and one night it became a furnace. A fire spread from the basement, racing through the corridors. The flames consumed beds, doors, and the very air. Some claimed the fire was an accident, while others swore it was the patients who set it, desperate for escape. What is known is that dozens never left. Their bones were found fused with the charred remains of their restraints, and their voices, people say, never stopped screaming. Now the asylum sits in silence, though not truly empty. Explorers who dared to enter speak of strange things. Doors slamming on their own, shadows bending against the laws of light, and cold whispers brushing against their ears when no one was behind them. Phones and cameras stop working inside. Batteries drain in minutes. Some explorers never came back. Those who did often refused to speak of what they saw, except for one man who posted his account online before vanishing days later. He wrote of entering through the main gate, its iron bent like skeletal fingers. Inside, the air was damp and heavy, thick with the smell of rotting wood and something metallic. Blood, though no fresh wounds existed. He described hearing faint screams echoing down the halls. Though he was alone, each step deeper into the asylum felt like walking into a mouth that would swallow him whole. He reached the basement where the fire began and saw something scratched into the stone wall. We never left. That was when the temperature dropped so suddenly his breath became visible, even though it was midsummer. He saw figures moving at the edge of his vision, burnt silhouettes with skin peeling like old paint, eyes glowing faintly in the dark. One figure whispered his name. He had never written his name on the walls, never spoken it aloud, and yet the voice called him again, closer this time. The man ran, but the asylum would not let him leave easily. Hallways twisted into shapes he did not recognize. Doors led back into the same rooms, and the exit stretched further with every step. When he finally burst through these broken main gate, dawn was rising, though his watch said only an hour had passed. Days later, his friends reported him missing. His last photo on social media was a blurry image of a burned corridor, and in the middle of the darkness, something stared back. A figure with no eyes, only charred sockets glowing red. Locals say the asylum is cursed not because of the fire, but because of what happened before it. The doctors and nurses who tormented their patients left behind not just scars, but imprints, energy so twisted that the fire only sealed them inside forever. Each soul that perished that night still roams the halls, screaming not for freedom, but for vengeance. And when someone enters, the asylum hungers again, feeding on their fear, adding new names to its collection of whispers. Even now, if you drive past the forest road on a foggy night, you may see a faint light glowing in one of the shattered windows, as if someone carries a lantern through the darkness. But there are no caretakers, no guards, no living souls inside, only the forgotten ones. And if curiosity tempts you to step closer, remember this. Once you hear your name whispered from the shadows, the asylum knows you, and it will never let you go.